Hello, everyone. So I'm doing a movie review of the movie Atlas that was on Netflix that was highly rated there right now, and across this film, I want to say I really enjoyed it. So like I'll just get back to what I was gonna talk about for my general film reviews. So the movie is about a girl who's trying to fight in this our supper attack from AI, and the AI are generally rebelled against the humankind in order to save them from the destructive nature of human being through themselves as is established. The main character is a girl by the name of Atlas Mori, uh, Atlas Mori Shepherd, something like that. And what's going across is that this main character has built a sentimental attachment in the progression of the other interpersonal relationships explored in the film. A good portion of this film is character development and in lines of the history and relationship existing between the villain and also the main character. Okay, so it's Harlan is the robot and the villain, and the impact of the robot in terms of characterization was done really beautifully done. For a robot, he showed very rigid emotion in terms of emotion into the facial interaction, and I thought that's beautifully done for the expectation of the role that Sandu was supposed to be playing as a robot. Um, Jennifer Lopez did a good job as well from acting. I actually thought that she was acting at the scenes and expectation, with the exception of one scene when it came down to the implication of having just suffered a tibial fracture. Maybe this kind of like injury caught her off guard in terms of the expectation of the film, but generally, otherwise, I felt the emotional volatility and her expression of her character was in mood to the conversion and the submersion of the film. Okay, so a relationship tied in. So a lot of this was driving the on. So a lot of the ideology of the story follows similar from other sci-fi fiction. The idea is again that the AI has controlled a good portion of the human development and civilization. The AI has turned against people, and now they are trying to rebel or calm down the rebellion that was established. And a lot of it has stemmed back from the fact of the Miss Shepherd role in the film. It's because the AI that's responsible is is an AI that was created by the mother for both the main character and as well for the robot. So there's a lot of different good elements that are been explored in this film. So the show them not tell them implication of like what the interpersonal relationship. As you've watched, you start to figure out the connections and the elaboration of the main character's trauma, and a lot of the film is driven by the fact of the characterization you see, along with some really witty Easter eggs reference that's been placed in there that I thought were brilliant. Uh, so uh, so you could talk about certain jokes placed out, and I'll kind of explore that a bit later on. But they were just like the icing of the cake, right? The cake is still made in lines of the storyline. They're just little trinkets here that kind of add to the humor to the film. At least on my perspective of things, was how things are kind of like externalized at this point for me. so so let's talk about so the film is also driven by action sequence, exciting plotline story. So it's not absolutely and utterly original. There's never going to be such a thing like that at this point, unless this is your first time watching films and what's so, right? So like that's one thing that just stayed out. The second thing is just like I'll talk about more of the humor in relation to the Easter eggs reference. So Jennifer Lopez kind of like accidentally picking French on the tabs, just like no, it should have been English. A bit of flirtatious attitude placed into the character's movie subtly. So like I thought it was really funny that the orange robots were all working menial tasks, and there was one big giant light blue one by the name of Zoe. In my head, the interpretation was, all right, the big light blue robot is taller than the rest of them. So That's the joke placed out there for me in my head. I hope you don't mind this. You kind of understand the inferences that I go through generally. And the implication of chess also put into subtly put into the film as a means of like how the two have connected with the AI robot and also Shepard. Shepard itself can also be seen as a meme, and also the implication of her favorite piece being the queen, and the queen being the key to solving all of the mayhem that she's suffering through AI exposure. um, so again, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Actually, the movie was quite fun to watch, and I got into it. Even if I did thought that the story plus premises at this point would just follow similar analogies to other films that I would watch before in the past, such as I, Robot, with Will Smith, and even the AI calling themselves Smith, being a good jab there at causing psychological connections, in better words to say, from the film's perspective. So, okay. So the only criticism I had for the actress was just the implication of the tibial fracture injury, which I felt came unexpectedly to elaborate. I felt someone that's caused a fracture would be a lot more pain, but I think she followed through it quite nicely. So fractures are, since this is an open fracture, right? Generally, when you find anybody who is injured, you always go for a stepwise procedure in approaching someone, regardless, for almost all emergencies. So ABCs or doctor ABCs are the form schematics of what you would approach a person. Then you can do, which is a primary survey. Then a secondary survey can be done, such as ample, allergies, medication, past medical history, last meal, events of injury, and then being able to describe what a fracture looks like and what it is a good portion of the implication of communications, to be able to like get your team to have a look and see if they need to do proceedings to stabilize the injury. So fractures, open reduction, internal fixation is done. I think the AI did that in a film quite well. It's a pretty cool trick in itself, right? And generally, there's also things you need to consider. For instance, a fracture is done, it's like, is there post complication from injury? Fat emboli can occur, or active bleeding, infections, DVT, and for very severe fractures that can cause neurovascular compromise, compartment syndrome can be considered. So all these things are some things that you may have to like, consider in relation to having that kind of form of injury. She got the better end of it, if you could say, in terms of describing after breaking her leg in that injury in the battle of the battle. Uh, so the film is driven a good portion of a mixture of stuff from action scenes. It's generally just like a guy's fan fiction. Like, it's a cool boys type target audience film, right? With the main character being a female, which is Jennifer Lopez. Uh, so here's my favorite line of the film, and this is from my bias, right? So proper name is a neurological process differently than a common noun. It creates a psychological reaction assigned to an emotional connection, the relationship. And then Jennifer Lopez denies the emotional connections from AI, and he says, "I am not an AI." And he says, "I am an AI computer connection named Smith." That was good. That was a pretty cheeky comment, and I loved it. uh, uh, yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I wanted to kind of tell them, and then the build up of the characterization really pulled me in as I was watching this. So as we kind of like discovered the past and the trauma that she had, because throughout the film, Jennifer Shepard had a hard time bridging the gap of letting AI sync with her on 100% basis for their neural link, which would have led them to reach dominance and control of their situation. And the reason why is because of the bad experience that she had with Harlan being the robot, a villain that was doing his job to like manipulate the circumstances to take control and have power over the human race, because he doesn't believe that the human race is able to properly take care of themselves because of these disputes and issues that they've caused, which they caused them by themselves. If that makes sense. it's also interesting because like she does explore the notion of like PTSD. I found quite interesting intuitively quite well because she lost her mother from the events that had happened. She also takes a stance of like blaming herself for the trauma. Actually, just he's pointing out that if she had never done this thing with Harlan, Harlan would have been able to take control as much as he did, which would have led to the negative outcomes that have led on to this. She takes a lot of the blame. It's the same ideology as saying, uh, the same ideology as saying that she could have never known this was going to be the case. So guilt tripping her for that circumstances isn't fair on her circumstances. She also admits implication that the truth that she has this misguided thought process that she doesn't like anybody because people generally disappoint her, but like that would not be the case. So, you know, uh, it's just like she has a very pessimistic, negative outlook viewpoint of people, which can be fair given her circumstances of where she is at this point. So the behind the scene in regards to behind the scenes, as I'm watching a bit of like the production of the films and what the director spoke, Brad Pearton, they'd like to emphasize that a lot of their most fun aspects when they were generating the film for Netflix was the implication of action scenes of what they did together and what they wanted to push the ones working into the industry in terms of like bring out the best. And I personally thought these action scenes were pretty fun to watch. They were pretty cool and they were pretty badass. So in regards to that, I thought they did a good job on the kicks notions and also the excitement of where the battle had led up and the accumulated philosophies behind their actions to why they were choosing sides for fighting. Okay. So in terms of scoring system of what the movie review is, so generally, plot summary for me was pretty good. I gave it, yeah, Easter egg reference, full marks there. So I thought Jennifer Lopez's acting was really good actually. There was only just one scene she wasn't able to, I thought could be pulled out or fleshed out more in regards to instigating an initial tibial fracture pain. I feel someone that just got that fracture would be uh, in more pain than how she first elicited it, but she later on covered it up in terms of how the scenes went for me. And what drives the engrossed the film for me, kicks emotional investments and all that. All this is really good. So that's four as well. So the joke, so the line of it, 2 marks. Jokes placed on the film, they're placed on from the Easter egg reference. So that's 4 marks for me as well. And caricature of villains, not bad actually. 1 point there as well. And how they talked about in terms of like cast and making in the film, and their ideology behind it. Just some parts of it. I don't know if there's an Easter egg reference of the blade coming out of the person's hand, or is this is supposed to be a subtle passive aggression or not. But like, I had fun with the film, so I'm okay. With whatever's been with whatever banters exist or not exist in my head. Okay, thank you very much. This is me trying to make my attempt of movie review for the film Atlas. Alright, for the scoring system, I actually liked it. It plays into a lot of my bias of like entertainment or like I like to watch. So it's an 82.14% is for me. And yeah, thank you so much for paying attention. And that was my movie review of the week for my channel. I do recommend you check out Atlas. It was also the top rated section for Netflix. So I think a lot of people thought this movie was quite popular, and I hope so. And I hope you have a good time watching this film too. This is me signing off. The Rotten Orange, the Rotten Orange making his review. Bye.
Hey everyone, thank you for putting the effort to watch the effort I placed on making something of an entertaining video. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said before, it's not forced, but like I really would appreciate any contribution and support you give to this channel, as it gives me more motivation and more incentive to enjoy more video creating and content creation. If you find that the content's drifts away at any point, you can always unsubscribe. It's no big deal. Again, it doesn't mean much It doesn't take much from you, but it means a whole bunch of me, and it would feel great if you would just reward my efforts of trying to be positive and contributionary. Thank you so much. Bye.